Hey guys, I wanted to jump on here and make a video that I typically don't normally make. I know a lot of you guys hear me make various print-on-demand videos, various stock photography type videos, making money online. One of the type of easiest ways to make money is just moving to another country. Now, I know for most people that sounds literally insane, but it's actually becoming more and more realistic amongst the American population, especially Western populations, mainly because people can't afford the cost of living as much as they used to. At least, some people. Not everybody, but some people. And there are a lot of people who might not necessarily be tied to their job or something like that, and they have different opportunities. Maybe they make money online. And I think out of the people listening to this, I think you guys have the ability to adhere to what I'm about to say the most, probably because you guys do make money online. And so I do want to talk about this. This is probably, like I said, the easiest way someone can make more money in any country is moving to another country. Now, obviously, it doesn't apply if you're from a third world country moving to like a second world or a first world. Of course, there'll be more opportunity in those countries. However, taxes will be higher, things like that. So if you live in the United States, which most people who watch my videos do, if you live in Canada, if you live in the United Kingdom, if you live in Australia even, these westernized, modernized, kind of first world type countries are not, I don't even want to say first world, but these countries that are more westernized with higher taxes are becoming more and more unaffordable. If you're living in the United Kingdom, London, and New York City, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So what people do is they find another country to live in. And for most people around the world, it's perfectly fine. It's a very easy thing to do. But for Americans, it isn't that easy, aside from, obviously having a job and things like that. But more importantly, from a tax standpoint, the United States is one of the only countries, I think there's only two, one of the only countries that tax you on your worldwide income regardless of where you live. For example, if I live in the United Kingdom, if I live in Ireland, and I decide I'm going to go live in Bulgaria, for instance, Ireland won't tax me on the income I make in Bulgaria, no matter what income it is. That's not the case for the United States. The United States will tax you if you go live in any other country, right? Things are a little bit different for Americans. So I do want to make this video. People might be thinking about it. If you go on YouTube and you search things like, the FIRE movement, financially independent, retire early, if you search things like nomad lifestyle, if you search things like living financially free, different kind of things like that, you're going to see this emphasis of people who are gradually moving out. And like I said, one of the easiest ways to make more money is just simply moving to another country. If somebody in America, let's say, makes $30,000 online, in America, they're going to struggle, depending on what state they're in. Most of the states you're going to struggle. It's not going to be ideal. But if you live in somewhere like California, New York, even Florida, it's going to be tough, real tough. But if you take that $30,000, you go live in Thailand, for example, you're living like a king. So the point is that every country has a different economic level, and you could take your money, especially if it's internet money, like laptop lifestyle money, you could do a lot with it. And so the point here is I kind of want to talk about this foreign earned income exclusion, because as an American, you can do that. Now, I know this is going to get kind of not too analytical, but it's an idea. If you're listening to this and you're American currently, maybe you live in the United Kingdom, maybe you live in Canada, maybe you live in Australia, is this something you've ever thought of doing? Is this something you're interested in? It is a benefit. For Americans, we have something called a foreign earned income exclusion. What does that actually mean? It means if you live outside the United States, right, and you pass a test of not being in the United States, whether you have a bona fide residence test or you stay outside the United States for 330 or more days, and you also happen to make foreign earned income, which foreign earned income is classified as self-employment income, salaries, wages, commissions, bonuses, professional fees, and or tips, then you can technically be included in this exclusion. You can benefit off of this exclusion. And every year, the number that you can exclude from your tax deduction changes, but roughly, it'd be roughly 120,000. So what does that actually mean? Let's just say you do print on demand. A lot of people who watch my YouTube videos from this channel do print on demand. Let's say you sell t-shirts on Etsy, not even Etsy, it doesn't have to be Etsy, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Redbubble, T-Public, maybe you have your own Shopify store, whatever. You make money online on these platforms. And technically, let's just say you have no S Corp or C Corp. Well, then in that case, you're considered self-employed. Remember, when we talked about LLCs, the number one thing that an LLC does for you is that it legally protects you, right? Not taxation protection, but legal protection. So from getting sued and things like that. But if you don't have an S Corp, meaning you're self-employed, and you're essentially employing yourself, you're making your own money, you don't have a boss paying you a salary, you will get a tax deduction, right? That deduction is technically an exclusion of $120K in 2023. Maybe it's $124K, $126K, who really knows? But for 2024, but let's just use 2023's number, $120K. You get to deduct that income. So let's say, for example, I made $50K in print on demand, right? In 2024, and I live in, I don't know, let's say I live in Montenegro, right? Technically, because I made $50K on print on demand, I don't have to pay tax on that $50K. Now, here's the thing. I'm self-employed, which means I will have to pay self-employment tax, which comes out to about 15%, which accommodates things like healthcare, Social Security, things like that. And that's, taxation you can't really walk away from. So no matter what, you're going to pay that. But that's if you're self-employed. If you have an S Corp, which sometimes it makes sense depending on how much you're actually making, then, you create an S Corp and you kind of alleviate some of that self-employment tax because you're paying yourself a check. I know this is somewhat complicated because we're talking about numbers and taxation and things like that, but this might be something to look into. If you guys enjoyed this type of video or this idea, I'll be happy to react to more videos online explaining this concept. And like I said, more than ever now, people are actually leaving the United States, moving, and there's a lot of even YouTube channels on it of people talking about this kind of stuff. And people who value their retirement, they value this idea of not having to work till the day that you die, trying to make as much money as possible. And there was a chart, I don't exactly know who produced it, but there was a chart that was showing how incomes rose over the years, like over the last 50 years, and how the prices of homes rose. And, back in like the 60s, the income used to be about like 2/3 to a half the price of the house. So if you were to work for a year just as a basic job, like we're talking dare I even say as a server in a restaurant, but construction workers, we're talking about, middle class, blue collar work, nothing too difficult to accomplish. Like we're not talking about being a doctor or anything like that, but mid-tier income, it would be about 2/3 to half of your home, to own your home, like of the home price, right? So back then, maybe your home cost, $20,000 and you were making $9,000 that year or something like that, right? Or $11,000, depending on how hard you worked, did you work overtime, etc. But most people at that time only worked the 9 to 5. They only did 40 hours a week. They didn't do overtime and things like that. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that that's how the incomes were in comparison to home prices. And then over the years, I think like 20 years later, the income was like half to a quarter of a third to a quarter of what the home prices were. And then now you look at it where majority of income is like, 20 times less than what the average home price is. And it just shows how drastically inflation increased or inflated the price of homes, but it didn't drastically inflate the price of salaries or the amount of a salary. It really didn't. Maybe increased it a little bit, but not to where it is so dramatic. Like if you look at, for example, a typical engineer's job today. Engineers can in the working line can make 60K now, 70K, 80K. If you go 10 years ago, those numbers really haven't dramatically changed. Of course, it depends if your entry position, things like that, but we're talking about the same exact position. The income hasn't drastically changed. Maybe it's a raise of $2 or $3 or $4 or $5,000. It's really not crazy dramatic. But in the last 10 years, home prices have more than doubled. It's pretty insane to even think about. Especially depending on the area too. Like if certain areas of Florida, certain areas of Texas, home prices have drastically increased. So, like I said, one of the easiest ways to make money fast is just moving to somewhere where your dollar has more power. You move to Thailand, for example, you're going to be able to spend more if you're from Canada, if you're from, and you'll have a better quality of life, might I add, but if you live in Canada, in the United States, etc. I think the hard part about this is the family aspect. Like, people don't have family in these foreign countries, and they don't have the family that they're connected to, brothers, sisters, parents, and a lot of the times, those people can't make the move. It's a little bit too difficult sometimes. Maybe they have jobs that they're tied to. Maybe they just don't want to. Maybe they've settled. That's it. They have no more energy to go to a whole different country and figure out the process and do the whole thing. I don't know, but I don't want to say the westernized countries don't have room to grow, but they definitely don't have as much room to grow as the other countries, like the underdeveloped ones. Like you look at Romania, Bulgaria, Latvia, Estonia. Estonia is a tough one because taxes is so high and it's not in a good position. But the point is that Thailand, all these places, you can have a much better cost of living, right? A much lower cost of living, but have a much greater benefit where your money is being used. And it's interesting. It really is interesting. If you guys thought about this, let me know. If you want me to make more videos around topics like this and money and investing and things like that, let me know as well. And if you want me to react to videos like this, let me know. If this topic in general was interesting to you, let me know. We'll talk about it more. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.